The early 2000s Laker dynasty was one of the most dominant, iconic, and controversial teams in NBA history. Shaquille O'Neal and the late great Kobe Bryant comprised the most vital part of the last team to three-peat. But out of all the stories told about this era, what often doesn't get told is who and what exactly stopped this team from continuing their championship-winning streak. In short, Kobe wanted to continue his ascent to greatness, while Shaq, on the other hand, was content with the greatness he already achieved. And just like how these contrasting work ethics started Shaq and Kobe's feud, so too would a single playoff game against San Antonio start the demise of this dynasty's fate. But this playoff game wasn't even an elimination game. The series was tied at 2 games apiece, as the top-seeded San Antonio Spurs and 5th-seeded LA Lakers faced off in Game 5 of the 2003 Western Conference semifinals. These teams have been neck and neck in the standings the past couple of years and met in the playoffs both times, with 2 prevailing storylines remaining the same. The Spurs held home court advantage because they were the higher seed, but the Lakers won the series because they were the better team. San Antonio actually did have higher hopes this season, thanks to Tim Duncan's MVP campaign, so the team being the top dog isn't too unexpected. But what wasn't expected was how the Lakers, the 3-time defending champs, fell so low in the standings. You see, the Lakers started the season without their big man due to a toe surgery he got late during the summer. The team started 3-9 without him, and barely improved once he was inserted back into the rotation, going 11-19 through the first 30 games of the season. This marks the Lakers' worst start in a decade, back when the team had Magic Johnson as a coach, not as a player. The biggest concern here wasn't actually the regular season record, as the Lakers finished 3rd and 2nd respectively the past 2 seasons. The actual concern was Shaq taking a while to find his in-season form. Shaq was already notorious for coming back from the off-season overweight, and by the time the season started, he'd simply get back into the groove of things as the season progressed because it was that easy for him. You add this type of work ethic to a lingering foot injury, and you're bound to underachieve. A foot injury obviously hampers a player's mobility. There's an iconic photo of Kobe back in 1999 shooting free throws in his PJs while he was wearing an arm cast. You can't do that as freely with a foot injury. Shaq was at the mercy of having one healthy foot and wasn't able to get into the shape he needed. Despite this, the Big Diesel still averaged 27 points per game and 11 rebounds per game, even averaging what would stay a career high for him from the charity stripe at 62%. As for Kobe, this is actually his first season where he's averaging 37-6. So Shaq ends up nearing career averages anyways after a rough start, and Kobe averages his then career high scoring-wise, and the Lakers ended the season on a hot streak, winning 11 of their last 13 regular season games. Though coming in as the 5th seed, LA bested the Kevin Garnett-led Timberwolves in 6 games in the opening round, despite Minnesota having home court advantage. Enter San Antonio. The 2 teams faced off 4 times in the regular season, with San Antonio winning all 4 matchups. However, this LA team appeared to be getting back into playoff form. The Spurs took the first 2 games at home, and the Lakers won both at Staples. And now we're at a point where the series is tied at 2-2, where we anticipate whoever can strike first with a road win will take the series. Game 5 started with San Antonio coming out the gates hot, finding themselves at a comfortable 56-38 lead at halftime. The third quarter remains more of the same, but with just under 2 minutes left in the period, what was a 23-point lead for the Spurs would slowly be chipped away at, thanks to a pair of free throws from Stanislav Medvedenko and some crucial back-to-back threes from Kobe, including this heave over 2 defenders to carry as much momentum as they could build up into the fourth.
Here's Bryant, got it off in time and scores from downtown.
Still, the Lakers were in a 16-point deficit. And it stayed like that, even halfway through the fourth. But a missed free throw and shot from Steven Jackson, a turnover from Manu Ginobili, and a couple of conversions from Medvedenko and Kobe, and the Spurs were only looking at a 10-point lead with 5:50 still left to play. Next thing you know, Duncan misses a shot, Kobe drains a three, Tony Parker misses a shot in the paint, and Gennaro Pargo, of all people, hits a 17-footer.
You've got to understand what a good shot is. And that was a good shot from the Laker point of view. The rookie Gennaro Pargo has brought the Lakers within 4.
We approach a $1:30 left in regulation after David Robinson barely gets his toes off the ground for an old man alley-oop. You can tell he's a couple weeks away from retiring. Kobe heads down the court, fakes out Bruce Bowen, and drains a three, cutting the lead to 95-91. After Parker airballs a floater, Kobe gets doubled at the top of the key and finds Robert Horry open from the left side wing. Horry is 0 for 4 from distance on the night, but he always comes up in these big moments. Though he misses the three, Shaq grabs the offensive board, gets fouled on the layup, and converts on the three-point play anyways. Yeah, Shaq made a free throw. The Spurs inbound the ball to Duncan, who seems like the guy the Lakers were trying to foul in the first place, since he's only a 71% free throw shooter. They foul Steven Jackson instead, much to the dismay of Laker head coach Phil Jackson. But Steven isn't that much better at the line either. He's averaging 76% on the year. Jackson gets the first free throw to go in, but he misses the second. And now the Lakers are down 96-94 with the potential final possession. The ensuing play sees Kobe with the ball as he dribbles himself into a corner, gets Bowen to bite on the fake, but instead of forcing a shot, he finds Horry open yet again from three. Big Shot Rob culminated a legacy off of making shots during crunch time. He was clutch during his tenure with the Rockets.
To get the ball back. Horry, three-pointer. Buries it!
In last year's playoffs especially, he's shown that he's still clutch in LA.
Kobe Bryant on the move against Christie. In for the right, flips his shot up, no good. O'Neal lays it up, missed it. Ball tipped out to Horry, a straight on three. Good! The Lakers have won!
But in this year's playoffs, that hasn't been the case. He has been stone cold from long range all series long. He hasn't made a single three against the Spurs. The last time he made any three-pointer in the playoffs was all the way back in Game 5 of the Minnesota series. Regardless of this stat, and regardless of the fact that he's been shooting cold all night and all series long, seeing Big Shot Rob open from beyond the arc to take the last shot of the game is bound to cause heartbreak for somebody. And it did. For the Lakers. Some championship runs have their fair share of magical moments that help a team when their backs are against the wall. But this wasn't LA's magical moment anymore, it was San Antonio's. And though Horry's missed shot failed the Lakers, he redeemed himself 2 years later off of a similar play, just for a different team this time.
Hunter on Parker. Here's Ginobili. To Horry for three. Oh!
But that's 2 years afterwards. What about the immediate effects? It resulted in a Game 6 blowout to end that 0-3 series. The Lakers then headed into the offseason desperate to get back to championship form as they signed an aging Karl Malone and Gary Payton. This so-called super team was favored to win it all in 2004, something the Pistons heavily disagreed with. Shaq not too long after was then traded to the Miami Heat, marking an end of a successful yet tumultuous chapter in Laker history.